Well, good evening, folks. How are you? It is good to see you, and it is good to be seen by you. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to the start of another week. I, of course, am Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live from an undisclosed location somewhere out there in the swamps of Central Florida. So I hope you are all having an absolutely wonderful evening. Brutal Hermit, good to see you. Jimmy Invictus, RPG Grandma, TV Flowers, Rabbit Wrangler, Nordic Maelstrom, Orbital Air, if I didn't already say, Pauper Knight, get yourself up and get that grip so you're not a pauper anymore. Damien247, and all the ships at sea. I hope you guys are having an absolutely wonderful evening this evening. Could be better. Could be better. And I don't mean that on a personal level. I am doing not too bad myself right now. Of course, unless you have been hiding out this evening, you know that the great actor James Earl Jones has left us, 93 years old, an icon, a titan, really, across so many generations. You know, we can't say, oh, well, we're Gen X and we remember from his best stuff. I mean, it's literally spanned decades and decades. So he is missed. And of course, if you're not familiar with him, you at least know his voice. He was the voice of Darth Vader. He was the voice of CNN for many years. This is CNN. He was Thulsa Doom in Conan the Barbarian. He was the baseball-loving neighbor in The Sandlot. He was one of the weapon systems officers in the B-52 in Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Gosh. And so much of it was on stage as well. I remember watching once on, I want to say it was CBS, or maybe it was HBO. No, I feel like it was HBO. I saw a two-man play. It was him and Mario Van Peebles. Now, I couldn't give a damn about slice of life stuff. If I'm going to sit down and spend 90 minutes or 2 hours watching something, I want something that's going to take me to another place. You know, unfetter me and send me to Mars or a galaxy far, far away, or ancient Hyboria or Middle Earth or whatever. But this was so compelling. It was such a fantastic piece. Yeah. I don't know that I'll ever do that again, Jimmy. I don't know that I will ever. But that is what it is. He was he was absolutely one of the most memorable voices, a fantastic actor, and we're all going to miss him. We're all going to miss him. So, anyway, what else is going on? Well, there's some stupid stuff happening in old school tabletop RPGs, and I'm going to do a video about it one day this week. There's some folks I have to talk to about it, but I'm going to do a video about it. And I've talked a little bit about it on the show last week, and I'm gonna hold forth on it. I think probably I'm gonna end up doing that, and I probably shouldn't. I probably should not, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, listen, if you're out there watching, if you're watching me on Twitter, but you're not over here on YouTube, if you haven't already, would you please come over here and click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications. I don't always talk about sad celebrity deaths on the show. We talk about a lot of fun stuff here on the show. I talk a pretty good tabletop RPG, if I'm being completely honest. I bring news and views and rants and bants and all that fun stuff. So if you haven't already, please come over, click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're watching it later down the road, leave a comment down below and tell me what you thought of the video. If you liked it, I'll do more of that stuff you liked. If you didn't like it, I'll do less of that stuff you didn't like, within reason of both. Hello, Calvinoni. Doc Flamingo, if I didn't say. But anyway, so there was, I was running a little bit late this evening. We had a power outage earlier today, and I literally just before this, I thought, oh, Doc Flamingo, thank you very much. I might feel better if I put on the pointy hat. Well, maybe. It's all the way over there. It's on the other side of the room. Best you can do, not on you, schlub. Thank you, Ryan David. I appreciate it. I was hanging out with that august gentleman this weekend over on the not the Speakeasy, the Nerd Cognito podcast, which is a thing that we recorded. It was myself, Ryan, and Bert, and we had a fine old time. We talked about a lot of things. I get to misbehave a little bit when I'm on other people's shows, and it was a lot of fun. It was a whole lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and big thank yous to Ryan. I absolutely appreciate it. Let me see here. So I wanted to share this. We touched on this a little bit this weekend. Oh, that is an actual press release PDF. That's not what I wanted at all. So I wanted to put this up. Now, I am a guy who likes a good libation every now and again. I've had some when I've been on the show. Never to excess, I don't think. Never to excess. I don't think I do great work. Thank you again for the Super Doc Flamingo. I don't think I do great work when I've had I know it's haha funny, watch the guy who's been slamming a few, but you know, I'm not a prude. You know, I'm not like some, I haven't gone full teetotaler. But anyway, I'm more on the low end of stuff too. Like you're not going to see me drinking like a 12-year-old scotch. And I opened up with a joke on Nerd Cognito yesterday, and I said I'm putting 12-year-old scotch into my Soda Stream. I don't have a Soda Stream and I don't drink scotch, so I don't even know if that's like a good age for it. Is that ludicrous, or is that like not enough or too much? I don't know. Hey, Dungeon Minister, good to see you. But anyway, wow, 106 watching already. I've only been going for 10 minutes. No, if you see me drinking something, it'll be a celebratory drink like champagne. If there's a reason to crack open the champagne, and I've got Heidi and Eric on, we will crack open the champagne on this show. If there's not drinking a 12-year-old scotch, I'm bathing in it instead. But if I feel compelled, I might have some, like a beer, like ciders, you know. But sometimes I'll have a stout. And I had been hearing a lot about Dragon's Milk Stout, and I had one of them, I think, on the air a long time ago. I want to say like early in the spring. And it's a buddy of mine Imperial Ramblings, Boganora. He comes on. He's like, you got to try this out. And what it is it is a bourbon barrel. It's either bourbon or whiskey barrel aged stout. And I like stouts. I tend to find them to be very, at once creamy, but then also very clean. Like a Left Hand Milk Stout, for example. And then, you've got the standard Guinness. Beamish is also good. So I tried out the Dragon's Milk, and it had a really good start, but the finish of it is so whiskey and bourbony that it was just, I just got like a burned taste out of it, and it was not to my liking. It just didn't do it for me. And I felt like that was a shame, not least of which because I spent $11 on the 4-pack, right? So, I feel like it was it was kind of not a good thing for me. But the company that makes it, New Holland Brewing, is actually doing a thing here, and I'm gonna share this because, again, we talked about it over on Nerd Cognito, and this is what it is. Let me see here. And no, this does not have a thing in the world to do with old school, but it is kind of tabletop news related. New Holland Brewing teases Dungeons and Dragons beer and bourbon collabs. Pretty much a press release. That's from a few days ago. So you can see there, Dragon's Milk and Dungeons and Dragons coming out November of 2024. Famed Michigan craft brewery and distillery New Holland has recently announced the expansion of its Dragon's Milk product line in collaboration with leading toy and game company Hasbro, because that's what you want associated with toys and games. Hey, little Bobby wants some Star Wars toys from the company that's bringing us hard liquor. Anyway, so celebrating the 50th anniversary of the world's greatest role-playing game, Dungeons and Dragons, or D&D, the expansion includes a limited edition D20 brew bourbon barrel-aged stout and Origin mead cask bourbon whiskey. Both beverages will be available at select retailers, including New Holland Brewing retail locations and dragonsmilk.com/D&D starting in November 2024. And we can go take a look at that. Brewed with the same passion that fuels D&D adventures, Dragon's Milk has a nationally renowned reputation as a bold, legendary beverage. I find your beverage burns my nose, but anyway. Not only does our work with Hasbro allow us to honor D&D's 50-year history, but it underscores our shared values of creating savored moments and forging lasting friendships. Our shared values, folks. There you go. Tabletop games and liver damage, what they go together hand in hand. But this is the page. Yes, I'm at least 21 years of age. And so you can see it. As we celebrate the legacy of Dungeons and Dragons, let us raise our glasses to the spirit of collaboration, a foundation of the game of friendship forged around the table. Dragon's Milk is brewed with the same, we just read their press announcement. And you can get merch. They have merch. Because everybody's got merch these days. So that's it. That's what is going on with that. So I just found that to be kind of interesting. And I feel like this is just kind of one of those weird collaborations. And I wonder if doing this in November isn't a very smart play for for the people at who make Dragon's Milk, and for Wizards both, because they don't spend that much time. I mean, the 50th anniversary will be over. The 50th anniversary year will be over a month after this stuff hits the shelves, right? So they create FOMO. It's only going to be out for a little while. Wizards doesn't have to be, or Hasbro doesn't have to be terribly burdened being associated with a distillery. You know, you can drop it and then you can scuttle out of the way. You can move on. If everyone's got merch, where's my Dungeon Delvers dice set? Click the link. We have merch. We have t-shirts. We have pint glasses, which are good for anything. We have stickers. We have all kinds of stuff. Go to the merch store. The merch store is linked there. And our merch logo is designed by the one and only Tracy Lesh. It is amazing. It is beautiful stuff. Nordic Maelstrom would rather shoot fireball bolts around RPGG, or fireballs. Well, you can drink Fireball if you want to. But anyhow, I just thought that was sort of an interesting topic. But you know, it points up something when I was talking about, hey, the company we're going to buy toys for our kids from. I saw this, and of course I don't have any hard data in front of me, and I wish I wish Ryan were still here, because he would probably have that information, because I swear he and I have talked about this before. Parents don't buy toys for their kids anymore. The market for toys are little, like infants, and their toys are like big, soft, rubbery things. And guys my age. Everybody in between wants an electronic experience. They don't want to play with Star Wars figures or vehicles or Transformers or G.I. Joes. All that's going to people my age and a little bit younger to sit on desks and on shelves and get covered with dust. But children and people who are buying for children are not the primary audience anymore. So I guess in a way, it makes sense. It makes sense to do this association. You know, I think their drive for marketing D&D is going to be in two places. It's going to be hitting people up for nostalgia. Why else would we be getting a Greyhawk reboot in 6th edition? Why else would they be leaning so heavily on stuff like coming back to Lost Caverns of Sojconth? I mean, they recycle Gary's stuff constantly. They're not selling it to the same people that they want to use their digital application, which is what D&D is becoming. D&D is becoming a phone app, which is what they want. So I guess that's just how things are going these days, right? So Drambuie to sponsor Dragonlance. It's yellow like Raceland and the bottle is red. That's funny, Engine Joe. They're putting Venger from the darn cartoon on the DMG cover. Yeah, they did that. Wizards. Wonderful Wizard of Games, I should say. So, yeah, I just found that interesting. AD&D Airsoft, trays, Lego, yeah. Trains. So anyway, that's really about all the TTRPG news I've got for you guys. But to move on, to move on, we've got a pretty good week ahead of us too. We've got there's a little something announcing on maybe on Wednesday, possibly on Thursday. But tomorrow night we're going to be playing some first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and I am really hyped for that. I'm looking forward to that, and I hope folks will come by and watch us do that, because what we do on Tuesday nights is we play first edition Advanced D&D, and we live stream the game. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, so what? You know, I've seen that out on the internet. It's boring as hell. Unlike other streams you might find out there, guys, if you have questions about what we're doing in the game, ask in the live chat. You don't have to super chat. I kid about super chats all the time. I love it when people do them. I never insist that they do them. But if someone in the live chat doesn't know the answer to your question, someone in the game might, or I might. Because maybe you've never played AD&D before. Maybe it's been a long time since you played AD&D, and you want to get back into it, or you want to try it for the first time, and you're curious about what we're doing, and you're curious about how we're doing it. Or maybe it's none of those things, and you just have a question on the moment that is at least a little bit pertinent to the game, if not the game we're playing. And again, I have the smartest and the best looking audience of 5-night-a-week classic tabletop RPG live streaming that is on YouTube, and I will die on that hill. Dungeon Minister asked me if I have a purple shirt. No, the sign is it's the sign. It is the light from the neon sign. I thought I got it turned down all the way. Campaigns and Conquest said, you think you're shadow banned on Twitter? Did I see your post about D&D armies and combat power? I didn't, Campaigns. Let me see. Also, I don't have the Twitter comment feed up. Let me see. Okay, I see Ryan David. He commented a few minutes ago. Average action figure is $22 now. That's not a child's toy or an impulse buy for mom at Kmart. It is not. It is absolutely not. That is 100% correct, Ryan. And I missed it. Sometimes I see the comments pop up over here on YouTube from Twitter. So anyway, yeah, we will be playing first edition AD&D tomorrow night. Again, open for questions. My co-host, Mr. Shuant, will be running some D&D on Wednesday night also. So you get 2 nights of D&D entertainment. I'm really looking forward to that because I get to play. He's hosting the game. I'm just playing in it, and I'm looking forward to that. Thursday, so I don't think we have a guest, but I'll have to double check. Thursday, we're just going to kick back and have some fun. And then Friday, we're going to be here for some Gamma World. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a good old time this week. And we're really going to enjoy ourselves. Campaigns and Conquest said this was on a thread from days back. Okay, so here's what happens. I have gone through and looked like an old, just scrolling back, like, I remember when I said such and such. that, and I really, I want to remember what I said. So I'll go back into my own feed and I'll scroll back through it, and I don't see the message. So I keep digging. And when I find the thing finally, and I expand out the responses, I'll see comments from people from days, a week ago, weeks ago, that I really would have loved to have read. Hey, Savo, good to see you. Top of the morning to Feifel. So, I am often missing some people's comments. So, Crusades, I will go back and look through my posts and see if I can find what you're talking about, brother. Because I again, I Twitter doesn't tell me all the time. Twitter does not always tell me. And by the way, in case you're wondering about why I started at 8 tonight, Monday nights I play first edition AD&D. I play it online, but I don't live stream it. That's my big 11-person group that we do on Monday nights. And that game is actually it starts at 10 o'clock, and I realized that by kicking the show off at 9 o'clock on Mondays, because I wind up talking and I can't shut up, I will like run right over the start time of it. So from now on, we're going to do Mondays starts the show at 8. Tuesdays, we start at 9. Wednesdays, it's kind of up to Kyle. Wednesday may be at 8:30 or 8 o'clock. I'm not 100% sure. But Thursday starts at 9 and Friday starts at 9. I used to split content. If you've been here a long time, you know, I used to split content. Like I would do an hour of show and then play AD&D with a group. Or a half an hour or 40 minutes or something like that. I realized after a while that way lies madness. That seriously, that was burning me out. All right. That was wearing on me. That was draining me. So, yeah, I basically, show starts, 10 minutes of preamble, boom, right into it. Show ends. And that's it. No after game, let's talk about what we thought of it. Just that's it. And I got to do that. I got to do that to keep it fresh for you guys. Okay. I got to do that to keep it fresh for you guys. Because otherwise, I just run out of stuff to talk about. I run out of things to say. And it just gets kind of awkward. And I don't want to be hurried. I don't want to be rushed. I don't want to feel like, well, I got to do it this way or it's not right. Because the way I got to do it is the way that I enjoy, that you guys seem to enjoy. The day I start to feel like, if I don't do this just exactly this way, then then this stops being a thing where I'm having fun. And I don't want that. Now, I will tell you guys, this is just a fun thing for me, and I'm excited about this. So, next week, I'm not promising anything. I may be streaming with Heidi and Eric. But what makes it special, and this is up to them, by the by, they're actually going to be here in town. They're going to be here. They're not coming to Casa del. They are in Central Florida on vacation. They're doing the theme parks thing. I am not asking them to drive from where they are because they're going to be close to the theme parks, which is not close to where I live. People say, oh, so and so lives in Florida. He must go to Disney all the time. Look at the map. We have a longer coastline than California's, okay? Florida's a big state. Not Texas big. I get it. Not even Montana big. I get that. But there's a lot of land here. And so I don't live cheek to jowl with the theme parks. I'm a little more convenient than a lot of people in the state are, but still. So I will be hanging out with them. I don't know if they're going to want to do just like a real short, like on my mobile phone kind of say hi to you guys sort of thing. I don't know. If it happens, it'll happen and you guys will see it. But I'm not going to make that like a keys to be like, well, since you guys are here on vacation, promote my show or anything like that. I love Heidi and Eric, and I don't want to impose on them that way. Excuse me a moment, guys. I got to move something here. Sorry. I'm a little crammed in right now, and I have this fairly vintage laptop. It's about 15 years old. So, it's got a dual core CPU in it, but it's just enough to run Windows 10, which is what's on it right now. And I finally dug it out of the carrying case today. I haven't used it in years, plural. And I plugged it in to charge it up. And the only place I have a spare plug, which is over here in the studio area. So it was just basically lying there, which is why I was kind of sitting over here like this. Anyway, let me read your comments here. In Largo and Disney is an hour and a half. Yep. Well, no, see, here's the thing. You get on the east-west axis of Florida, or Central Florida, Michael, and it doesn't matter where you are. Where you want to go is an hour away. I don't care what Google Maps says. If I need to go to downtown Orlando for an appointment, for whatever reason, it's going to be an hour. I can fly from Orlando International Airport faster than I can drive. I can fly from Orlando International Airport to Milwaukee, rather, faster than I can drive from my house to the airport to fly to Milwaukee. It's not so bad going north and south. It's absolutely terrible going east and west in Central Florida. And it would be an eastward journey for them up Interstate 4. And if you don't understand, then that means, But anyway. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at some of the chats here. Let me ask this person chatting here, VGAMPI, or I'm sorry, APMI, VGAPMI. Took us 3 hours to get from Jacksonville to Jacksonville from okay. Yeah. When you said conspirators, did you? Let me see. There are other conspirators here like RPG Grandma. Don't start things. Don't start arguments in my live stream chat. Don't do it. That's your one warning. And as far as the rest of that subject, I have said what I am going to say about it. So, sorry. Anyway, so, no, the thing with Florida, particularly Central Florida, I'm going to go off on a rant. This doesn't matter much. The power and the money in Florida is still agriculture people. I don't mean as a going concern. I just mean that from like the 1950s to the 1980s, it was people who owned cattle ranches and orange groves. We had massive freezes in the late 70s and early 80s that took us from about 50 million acres of orange groves to less than a million. There's like 900,000 acres of orange groves in Florida now. Okay, you're done. You're gone. You're banned from my chat. You calling me woke and using that kind of language about people in my chat, that gets you bounced. Don't be that guy. Anyway, moving right along. As I was saying, all those people own all the land that orange groves and other agriculture concerns sat on for generations and generations. And we had hard freezes that wiped them out, mostly the oranges. Just, well, what to do with all that land? Well, when the economy started booming and people started moving to Florida, houses, supermarkets, shopping malls, all of that stuff. And because of that, we wound up with a ton of new construction. But the problem is, the people at the Citrus Club all want to go to heaven, and none of them want to die. What that means, and that's true of the entire state, nobody wants to put money back into infrastructure. So roads are, it's not that they're failing, it's not that they're crumbling, they keep them in good repair, they just don't expand them. Instead, they just want to build more. And they want to do stuff that, now, I actually was made aware of this by Sarah Frazetta, granddaughter of Frank Frazetta. Yes, I am reaching out to her to see if she'll be on the show. But there was once again a proposal put before the state legislature to get exemptions to build in state parks. That's no bueno, guys. Fortunately, he got shot down. Dungeon Minister, tell me about Touchberry's pocket knife, please, somewhere. I have a pretty cool knife. I'm not sure if I'll get in trouble showing this on YouTube, so I won't really give. But my dad, this is a little skinning knife that my dad got me once upon a time, and this is really nice. This is a case, and it's got an engraved and enameled drawing there. It's more of a showpiece than anything else, but I quite like it. And my dad got this for me, and I just, I adore it. And yes, a little leather case for the belt. The Swiss Army varieties looking for a wine bottle to open, but they all have screw caps. Oh, get in there. Anyway, I am sorry about that unpleasantness earlier with that VGDPMI or MPDI or whatever it was. And now that you have me flashing steel, what is steel to the hand that wields it? No, I can't do that too soon. Florida has kept the U.S. scurvy free for ages. Yeah. Yeah. Beauty for you. Must have been on X. No, they were posting here on they were posting over here on the YouTube space. You can behave or you can be gone. You can behave or you can be gone. Yeah, I kind of figured. It's fine to be passionate about things, guys. I get passionate about things. But my house, my rules. It's very simple. Yes, exactly. Games because reasons. Boom, banhammer. That's how it works. But anyway, so I'll now open the floor up. If you guys have any questions, any D&D kind of related questions, we can absolutely talk about. So I've got a good, I've got a good 45 minutes we can kill. Oh, I thought this was cool. So today, Jorge, ask away. Savo, ask away. Type your questions. And I will do my level best to answer them. Today, like I have seen many answers on this subject, and I was so glad to finally find a source. This actually came from Polyhedron magazine. Jimmy, that's fantastic. I thought I saw that upstream. Glad you're making it out, man. I was going to do B2 as an interpretive dance. Ah, sorry, TD. Wave. Be nice, brother. I had heard many variations on what the proper answer for this was, and that is how long does paralysis caused by various things, including a carrion crawler, how long is that supposed to last? And Gary actually gave a ruling in Polyhedron magazine. And I think a ruling from Gary in Polyhedron is pretty much a by-the-book rule. And so here it is. This is from Polyhedron number 2. Let me see. I'm gonna mark that question and come back to it. And mark Savo's question. And let me see. Hey, Mike Dymark, good to see you. And what was the question from Jorge? Okay, I'm going to mark that, and I'm going to come back to those. Anyway, so this is from Polyhedron number 2, and you can find that as a PDF out there if you just dig around. It's unobtainium, out of print. I don't care if you find it. I don't care if you search for it. It's not piracy. And this is Gary laying down the law. Paralysis from creatures lasts as long as paralysis from a wand. 5d4 rounds. That's 5 to 20 rounds. That's 1/2 to 2 full turns. Multiple hits from a carrion crawler or any other paralyzing creature forces multiple saving throws on the part of the victim. When any one is failed, the other hits have no further effect on the paralysis. Damages still apply if given, such as by a ghoul or ghast. Now, originally his thought was it was until it was removed. Until somebody hits you with remove paralysis. You're paralyzed. Still. That's rough. And as the person who was talking about this over, I actually found this on Knights and Knaves forums. This was posted just a few days ago. Think about the saving throws. What goes with poison and death magic? Paralyzation. Paralyzation goes with them. It's brutal. But 5 to 20 rounds, I think, is probably appropriate. And in that time, how eaten will you wind up if a carrion crawler gets you? All right, so I want to answer some questions now because I've been asked questions. Start with Jorge. Let's say you're invited to a game, but you need a 3rd level character. How creating one is different from level 1. Depending on the class. Not vary. You will still roll up your stats. You will roll an appropriate number of hit dice for your level. Now, if your character is a magic using class, cleric, druid, illusionist, magic user, you will have more spells to cast, whether or not, if you're an illusionist or magic user, you have more spells in your spell book, will be up to the DM running the game. But you will, at 3rd level, for example, as a magic user, 2 1st level, 1 2nd level. If you have a high wisdom as a cleric, you'll be casting a lot more spells. But if you're just a simple fighter, then you will just increase your hit dice. Your saving throws won't change, nor will your 2 hit numbers. As far as equipment, starting equipment and potential starting magic items, again, that comes up to the DM, but it is just stats created as listed. I hope that answers your question, Jorge. With a commensurate increase in hit points. The GM or DM may ask you to roll those hit points, indeed your entire character, in front of them, but it's going to vary. So I hope that helps. Savo asking the important questions. I want to know how it is that elves in 1st edition D&D live for thousands of years but are not functionally smarter than humans. Is this the positive commentary on humans, or are elves the slowest learners? I would say that it is a little from column A and a little from column B. And it's not entirely tongue-in-cheek. Elves know that they have thousands of years. They know that they have thousands and thousands of years to live. Why devote, why try and cram in to a short amount of time things that you have centuries to learn? Humans, on the other hand, know that they are mortal. Well, much more so than elves. And faced with that mentality, rush to put all the possible experience in a short amount of time that they can. I hope that answers that question. Damien asks, What was the most obtuse RPG core rule book I've ever read, and was it made by White Wolf or Onyx Press? The most obtuse rule book was made by White Wolf, and it was Exalted second edition. All I wanted were simple combat tables. There is a very pretty, very verbose book, the core rule book, and it is 700 pages of Naruto fanfic. And that's it. I struggled to find the actual somebody told me the storyteller system is really easy to use. Maybe it is, because I couldn't find it in that damn rule book. So yeah, it would definitely have to be a White Wolf product. All right, let me get it back to the comments. Scrolling. Engine Joe, if you were asking about that copy of Polyhedron, it's number 2, issue 2. Savo says, I'm liking the idea that elves are that kind of high elves. Oh no. Jeffrem Denkar asks, how should I handle writing adventure with the end involving holding a stone bridge for 3 days against an elite hobgoblin infantry force by the characters and NPC force? I mean, I guess I guess, I mean, you would just have the adventure, and I mean, you'd have to break it up into parts, you know. You could literally just say, okay, you know, once you get out of the castle ruin, you're met by a group of messengers, and they say, you know, Stone Bridge is in danger of falling to an elite hobgoblin force. You know, Lord so-and-so has asked that you sally forth to help us. And then they can or not. And I would tie that into things that the party did in the adventure. But if you're talking about, like, how do I make it so that that's exactly where they wind up? I wouldn't. I would just have it so that when they finish whatever portion of the adventure module that you've got, when they come out of the dungeon, leave the forest, exit the tower, the castle, whatever, they're met by these messengers. They're met by these messengers who say that there is a grave danger. And I hope that answers your question. Excuse me. So let me say this about, let's see. Let me say this about Tucker's kobolds. So for you guys who don't know, Tucker's Kobolds is an infamous D&D story. It's right up there with the Head of Vecna or Eric versus the Gazebo. Tucker's Kobolds is a story about the DM was supposedly a Maxog V military assistance group, special operations group, Vietnam veteran who basically ran his kobolds as underground Viet Cong. They would do stuff like light trash piles on fire and use long poles to push it towards the party. All the kobolds' dwelling places were just kobold height, which was like 3 feet tall. So the party had to go on their knees and that sort of thing. And when they realize that they've gotten to the back of their lair and they've gotten their asses kicked, they have to turn around and run the gauntlet again. And, it's this dangerous tunnel crawl. I feel like it's one of those things that in my opinion is a little overplayed, I think. And all right, I have said before that I am a big fan of adversarial DMing. I'm waiting to see if to see if certain people pop into the conversation. No? Okay. I am a fan of adversarial DMing. I'm not a big fan of creating Kobayashi Maru type scenarios for play groups. I can win just about any circumstance that a party creates by using the most underhanded tricks. Personally, I feel the reason that the kobold race has survived as long as they have is that they breed like fleas. I mean, look at their numbers. It's 40 to 400 or something like that. They're the Kleenex of dungeon monsters. Giant rats are a bigger threat than kobolds, in my opinion. I like that, EOTB. Think of DMing as writing the future that occurs if the PCs don't interact with the location, and then you'll be able to improvise to see what happens next when they do. But, I Tucker's Kobolds seems a little quantum to me. Like, we go in, we get our asses kicked, we fall back out to that cliffside, and if we're high enough level, maybe we stone shape, maybe we improvise some way to stay on that cliff, and the magic user just starts launching fireball in there, fireball after fireball. I just feel like the Tucker of the story really just wanted to war game, like in the purest sense, and take the party down a notch. I have no problem with playing kobolds intelligently. In fact, you absolutely should. They should be doing intelligent things. That's just like one notch too high for me. Because as I've said before, I can come up with endless scenarios to beat a party with. I can simply say the dungeon you're in starts to rumble. Yeah, your obviously your turns of exploration inside. The walls start to rumble. Rubble starts to rain down on your heads. It collapses. You all die. Roll up new characters, and then I can turn around and do it again, and I can do it again, and I can do it again, and then I can find myself with no players. The trick isn't coming up with clever ways to off a party. The trick is coming up with clever ways to endanger a party to the point where you don't know whether or not they're going to make it. Oh, hey, Drama Goblins. You missed some drama earlier. The way to the way to manage, I guess, a situation like that. I don't know. I just feel like I just feel like, again, Tucker's Kobolds was an exercise in, I'm such a badass, here's my unbeatable kobolds kind of thing. Like nothing the players would have done. Has anyone here ever read the Aliens Earth War story from Dark Horse Comics? Long, incredibly long story short. It came out between Aliens and Alien 3. And the premise of it is that the company finally got aliens home to study. They got loose. And they did what aliens do, and the Earth was kind of screwed. And there was a general, Colonial Marines general, who figured out that he was going to train a force of xenomorphs. He was going to use basically positive and negative reinforcement to train them to fight for him. And of course, he was also completely bonkers, because how do you get more xenomorphs? He considered the population of a colony world entirely expendable. And the force under his command was generally either afraid of him or 100% behind him. And there's a bit where a few soldiers steal an APC from the main base on the colony. And I can't remember where they were going, but they went to another location on the planet. And the general had enough spies and enough surveillance that he knew this was going to happen. He just wanted to watch what would happen. So they wind up in a place on the planet that the general has let get overrun with quote unquote wild xenomorphs. And as he's watching on the camera, he's disgusted by their tactics as the aliens are picking them off. And he's like, slow progression, using flamethrowers to lay down covering fire, smart guns on the corner. They should just be able to walk through that. And he's triggering alarms in the place to let the xenomorphs know that there's something in there, and so on and et cetera. That kind of reminds me of the Tucker's Kobold story. You, the DM, have everything in your hand, and you're tipping it towards your monsters and saying, you guys should be able to beat this. I can't believe you're not beating this. This is so easy. And I don't quite dig that. I don't quite dig that. By the way, do you guys in the chat who are saying, train a force of xenomorphs, I can see the flaw there. Yeah, he was played for a sucker by the alien queen. It's strongly implied in the Dark Horse comics that aliens have kind of a latent sort of psychic sensing ability, that the reason people like freeze up sometimes when they see the aliens is they're literally kind of faintly psionically attacked. And that through pheromones and slight psychic control, alien queens can manipulate people. And that basically this alien queen had him believing, by commanding her warriors, she kind of picked up on what he was trying to do and let him think he was pulling it off, so that when he did return to Earth, it was because she wanted to go there and take control of the hive that Earth had become. And consequently, he got killed and there were even more aliens on Earth. So that's how the story ends. Let me see. UTB says, the DM is a master of ceremonies. The players are the reason the event is happening. A good MC isn't trying to outshine the people who are the reason the event is happening. I agree with you. There, Mr. of the Beholder. As I've said before, a dungeon master should never make a scenario too hard. He should make it just difficult enough. Now, finding that line, treading it, that's a difficult task for a lot of DMs. The DM is also a player. You're interested in my opinion of that idea. I heartily agree with that the DM is also a player. We are players. We have hundreds of thousands of characters, entire planets of characters, men, women, monsters, beasts. We get to role play. We get to interact with the players. Role playing is playing a role to someone else. That's why Gary didn't like the term computer role-playing game. Who are you playing a role to? Particularly if you're playing a single-player game at home. Who are you playing a role to? You are as the DM, you are playing a role to the players when you're the blacksmith, when you're the head of the orc tribe, when you're the king, the demigod or goddess, the leader of the army that's going to ruffle stomp the little town the parties are trying to protect. You have all of those roles to assume. The DM is a player as well. And the DM can have his own goals. And the players can set out to thwart those goals. Didn't Batman try to arrest Dredd? No, that was Judgment on Gotham, and Dredd tried to arrest Batman because he was loaded with illegal weapons, like personal weapons, like knockout gas, stun grenades, flashbangs, just everything. He was just like, buddy, all of this is illegal. Good night, Kenneth. You're right, wonderful Wizard of Games. And I actually mentioned this on Twitter today. And fortunately, no one's really gotten in my grill about it. But this is what I said. The utter and absolutely bonkers notion of you can't do X to my character without my consent, where X equals level drain, impairment, or death, or otherwise grievous harm is so completely nuts as to beggar belief, and yet I do see it. It's rare, but it does crop up. Wait, I as a DM have to ask you if it's okay to harm your character in game. And that's what I honestly feel that way. And, there's no, I would really like to get inside the head of a person that thinks that. And just find out what, make me understand. Help me understand why why would I need your permission? I would never ask my players permission to inflict damage on their character. Yes, exactly. You guys get it. Miss Bella says, by sitting down at the table, you're giving consent for anything to happen to your character. That kind of person should not be playing a role-playing game. The mentality seems to be, you're not playing along with my power fantasy. I'm sorry to hear that, wonderful Wizard of Games. They tried to get Call of Cthulhu banned from the... I would love to hear the story about that. I would love to have had boots on ground during that moment. I feel like maybe possibly it's an outgrowth of I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole here because I don't really want to talk about exceptionally unpleasant things, but I wonder if it's not in fact a case of someone is trying to use a tabletop RPG, yours, the one that you are planning on running, as their way to process trauma. And the idea of this character died, this character was rendered lame, this character was blinded. The reason this character is an adventurer is to avenge their family who was slain or had some, and that we don't want to do that because we don't know what trauma someone is processing at the table, to which I say, this is not the place for that. Because I'm not a therapist. Now, I think if you've got a good group of friends, and Wheeling Dragon and I talked about this, I think if you've got a good group of friends who can, sit down and talk to you during a bad time, or if you get a spiritual uplift from playing a game, if you're like, I'm kind of sad, but I'm going to play D&D with my friends tonight because I enjoy that, and that's going to improve my mood, that's just fine. But you can't do that to my character because laundry list of reasons. No. No. Sorry. No. So that's just how I feel about that. Oh, I would never try to do that, Jimmy Invictus. Kanek loves it. She said so. I know she's not here, so it kind of takes some of the punch out of that. Oh, you're probably not right, Engine Joe. Your character is aloof. I have to give you platinum pieces and gems. Fine. You find one platinum, or you find a diamond that is worth exactly one copper piece. It's a grain of sand. Don't lose it. 20 of those, and you'll have the equivalent of a silver piece. Don't drop any of them. Might want to get a salt shaker and tape over the lid to keep track of all those copper piece gemstones. TD says roll initiative versus the gluten. You know, I used to listen to Def Leppard, and then I developed an allergy to gluten, globin. That's way less to carry. Good luck finding a lapidary who's not going to... It's sand. Clunk. Next. But anyway, so yeah, we've got a few minutes left. Any more questions? Does not include rope. Rope has a separate price. A grappling hook I would treat as I would just look at like the price of a pickaxe or something like that and go appropriate. Oh wait, I want to put this up on the screen because EOTB is saying I'm right about something. I need to savor the moment. He and I know each other, so I can take a poke at him there. But it says I'm so right. AD&D promises a lot of different types of make-believe, but not one where things happen because you want them to. I was having fun. Rob Kuntz and I were having some fun with that the other night on Twitter. It may have even been last night. We were just kind of teasing back and forth. Jif from Dankar, have a lovely evening. Go crash gently. Many Shubs and Jules knew what it was to be roasted in the depths of the sloor that day, I can tell you. That was the final rectification of the McKettrick supplicants, wasn't it? Or was that the third rectification of the Voldrani? I can never keep those two events straight. Oh boy. Sorry, I just got tagged in a couple things and I just want to make sure. Just didn't want to miss anything. Am I a god? No, I just know a lot. It was both the final rectification of the McKettrick supplicants, the third rectification of the Voldrani. It was the third rectification of the Voldrani that the destroyer took the form of a giant and moving Torg. And the final reconciliation of the McKettrick supplicants. Was that it? The final reconciliation of the McKettrick supplicants? That the destroyer took the form of a sloor. And many shubs and zools know what it was to be roasted in the depths of the slore that day, I can tell you. How to make a memorable normal NPC? Give them a Scottish voice and make them a dwarf. No one will forget that NPC ever. I shouldn't have told you guys that. That's my secret sauce. No DM's ever done that. No, a memorable NPC, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's going to depend on your campaign. Just someone who has pathos, who engages with a party, whose patter is just so snappy that they really enjoy it. Scott Pyle, hello. I love your little aliens comic strips, by the way, Scott Pyle. I don't think that's Nathan Pyle. Pyle? No, that's Gomer Pyle. Jimmy and Victus get packing, and we'll see you on the other side on the next show. Yes, Gonzalo, that is absolutely the truth. I have run Lord Robilar. My party on Monday night, and none of them are here. My party on Monday night is 1000% convinced that everything bad that has happened to them has happened because of him. And none of it's true. None of it's true. Not a single iota is true. He's just watched them with an enlightened self-interest. He's bought a few magic items from them, offered to buy others. But he has never, ever been the author of their undoings. Never. Considering Tolkien's inspiration, shouldn't dwarves have a Swedish accent? Yes. Swedish or maybe German. But definitely Northern Central European, not Scottish. I don't know where the Scottish thing came from. Honestly, I don't. Because the dwarves in The Hobbit, even the animated film, they had Middle English accents. So I don't know where the Scottish dwarf meme came from. And then I guess, Peter Jackson was just like, Gimli should be Scottish, so we ended up stuck with it. No, I don't like the Scottish accent dwarf. I think it's just been beaten into the ground. All dwarves should speak with the tone and slang. That's a real hot cooker you've got there, son. Let me show you what an old knickerbocker can do with a +2 broadsword. It does definitely sound that way, RPG Grandma. Barak Kazad, Kazad I Menu. The axes of the dwarves are upon you. You're listening while your spellcasters stand outside a dungeon and recover magic points in Bard's Tale. Excellent. Bard's Tale is absolutely a cromulent game, and I love it. Dwarves that sound like Sean Connery. I could tolerate a Connery sounding dwarf. Oh my goodness. Well, we've had a fun 90 minutes tonight, haven't we, guys? Just general chit chat. Any last questions before I go? Dirty history and hobbies, 99 berserkers, 99 berserkers, 99 berserkers, and 99 berserkers. And you just start plowing them down with area effect spells. Do I use Unearthed Arcane at all? Bits and pieces. It is a handy volume for referencing the cost of normal magic items that were not covered in the AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide. If players want to use cantrips, I'm okay with that. Some spells out of it are okay. The XP cost for magic users casting spells, I don't mind Thief Acrobats. That's about it. Oh, and having a concatenated place for all of the new artifacts and magic items that were introduced in modules that were released after the Dungeon Master's Guide is also super handy. Do Tucker's kobolds have pet gazebos? I don't know. The half-orc and the 1E PHP and telling you doesn't look like John Lithgow. What are my thoughts on magic item stores? I don't like them. I put them in my city of Greyhawk, and I don't like the fact that I did. I'm going to remove them. The party is in the Duchy of Jeff. I don't mind alchemists who can make potions if brought the right ingredients, or magic users who will make magic items to spec. But magic items themselves generally go through brokers and agents of noblemen who wish to buy such things. Yes, Monday night will start early from now on, Gonzalo. Well, it'll start at 8 o'clock. Injun Joe, that sounds like Kermit from it's one of the more recent Muppet movies. Hello, humans. I don't know, Barbara. What kind of underpants do clouds wear? But the shucked oysterness. I don't understand the reference, Michael Dale, but that should be funny. Hello, human. Thunder. The only magic item that explodes, and this is not when caught on fire, a necklace of missile will explode if you pull one off and throw it. So I would include like just throwing the whole necklace if the whole necklace basically suffered a crushing blow. And is it a staff of wizardry that has a final retributive strike? It will explode. Otherwise, they're just ruined. Oh, don't mention it. Don't apologize for it, Barbara. We're still playing G2 on Monday night. We are running G2. Yes, the retributive strike. Thank you, Daniel. Excuse you guys. I've had a weird few days sleep-wise. Let me tell you what happened, just kind of in closing. On Saturday, 6:15 in the evening Saturday, I was just like, I'm going to go lie down on the bed. Woke up at 10:38. Missed my dang football game, which we won, but it was probably good for my blood pressure that I didn't see it. The day before, not even the day before, the morning before, I got up and took the youngin' to a Girl Scouts event, which, as it happens, was the next day. I mean, we got up, we drove one town over, and I texted the scout leader, we're here at the place, waiting on you guys. It's tomorrow. Open up the thing. It's tomorrow. Drive all the way home. Muddle around. Lay down on the bed. Wake up at 10:30, completely confused. Don't get to bed till 3 o'clock. Got up. Did the Nerd Cognito podcast with Ryan and Bert. Took the youngin' to the Girl Scouts thing, came home, went back and got her, came home, sat up way too late last night, even though I was exceptionally tired, and then promptly fell asleep at my editing desk. Crawled into bed at 3 o'clock, woke up at 9:45 this morning. It's been weird. And I'm going to be sitting up till 1 o'clock minimum playing first edition AD&D tonight in just a few minutes. So anyway, that's about where I'm going to wrap it up. I think we're just kind of rambling at one another at this point. I want to thank everybody for being here. Hopefully you tune in tomorrow night when we will have, we'll have Graph Paper Architect, Doomsword Deathmaster, D&D Disability, who else? Mark, Tim M. Holt. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but I think I got everybody. But we'll be playing first edition AD&D for you guys tomorrow night. Please tune in. And again, I ask you, if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications. I'd really like to get the channel over 7,000 subscribers before the first of the year. I would absolutely love to be able to do that. I'm going to talk to you guys as we get a little bit closer to December about what December is going to be like. We're not going to do guests. We're not going to do game streams in December. But I've got some really cool stuff coming up that I can't wait to tell you guys about over the course of the next few weeks. So do tune in tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. And who knows, maybe on those wandering monster tables, I will roll an owl bear. Oh, and by the way, thank you for the super chat. Doc Flamingo, be good to each other. Love you all. See you tomorrow.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to